In 50 years from now, there are going to be stories written about what happened to gold in the past month and honestly in the past year. It is crazy. We are now at $4,400 on the metal. It is up 10% in just the past 5 trading days alone, and it is up close to 65% for the year. What this means for the country you live in, for the money that you use, for your portfolio, and for the economy overall. I'm going to break all of it down for you in this short episode, so I hope you guys stick around. Hey everyone, I'm Spencer Hakimian, and welcome back to another episode of What's Moving Your Money on Forbes. And as I just alluded to, we're going to be covering all that the yellow bullion, gold, the longest forming currency on earth, is trying to describe to us and what this may mean. So I hope you stick ahead. First and foremost, what gold is trying to tell us is that our fiscal problems in the United States have now hit the fan. We are now officially at unsustainable levels, as I have been warning for years was going to happen. And ultimately, what is going to end up happening has already started to happen. The dollar is losing its value versus real assets and real currencies. And what that ultimately means is that over time, the dollar can purchase less and less of hard assets and things of actual value. It's not that gold has been getting better in the past year. Gold is just a piece of metal. It does not produce anything. It's not unique in any necessary way. It is simply a metal that cannot be produced more of. And ultimately, it is going haywire because of the fact that it's being priced in dollars, and those dollars are rapidly losing their value. Rapidly. Right now. It is crazy. Gold is having its best year since the 1970s, since runaway inflation. And back then, we did not have these kind of fiscal problems. This is unique in the sense that gold is reflecting fiscal problems. And I want to caveat all of this. I'm not a political person. Republicans are to blame here. Democrats are to blame here. Multiple presidencies in a row are to blame here. But bottom line is, every president comes around every 4 years and says they're going to fix the problem, and none of them, not only do they not fix it, they all make it worse. Trump was supposed to come in here with Doge and cut spending. Spending is up over 10% year over year. He was supposed to come in here and fix the budget deficit. It's going for another all-time high this year. And as a percent of our GDP, our deficit is closing in on 7% of our annual output. It's crazy. If you just took our deficit out of the GDP for just 1 year alone, the recession you would get would be like 2008s put together. It is so bad, the situation that we put ourselves in, and it's going to be even harder to somehow get ourselves out of this mess. Now, another problem that gold is trying to scream at us is that the United States is losing monetary credibility. The United States is explicitly now getting involved on the government side in opining and in pushing, to be frank with you guys, the direction of monetary policy. And this is the danger. This is why I was warning for months on end that Trump should not do this, because we were going to pay the price for all of it. They cut rates. Has the 10-year yield gone down at all? No. The only thing that's happened is the dollar has lost value and gold has skyrocketed. Imports have become more expensive. Our exports are going to become much more entangled with all of this currency devaluation that we are doing. And ultimately, what ends up happening is that gold continues to go up because investors are saying we no longer trust the United States and their debt assets to provide us with a real return. If we push the Fed funds rate to 2.5%, as Steve Moran, as an example, suggested he may want to do, well, then we're going to have, with inflation at 3.5%, we're going to have negative real interest rates, which means no one's going to want to hold our debt. Who on earth would hold someone's debt if they're guaranteeing a negative real return? You might as well buy gold. At least it has a chance of keeping up. On years like this, it does phenomenal. That's the whole logic of investors here. That's why I own gold. That's why many people own gold. It is because of the monetary dishonesty, frankly, that the United States is conducting itself with. And over time, this is only going to get worse, because now that the can of worms have been opened, in a few years' time, when hands of power change in Washington, D.C., whenever that might be, the other party is going to do the same thing. They say, well, they did it, why won't we do it? So this is a problem, and ultimately us as citizens are going to pay for it. So it's sad. And before I let you guys go, I just want to comment on one third leg of this gold trade that is why it is catching up so much. The United States has begun explicitly to weaponize dollars. This started in 2022 when the United States froze Russian assets, in this case treasury bonds, over its invasion in Ukraine. And I obviously condemn the invasion of Ukraine in the strongest terms possible. But as a matter of financial principle and financial logic, when we froze their assets, the Russian assets, we signaled to the rest of the world that we are no longer a risk-free, quote-unquote, currency. If you are an adversary of the United States, at any point in time, the Treasury Department can freeze all your assets. What part of that is risk-free? I don't know. It doesn't seem risk-free to me. Regardless of the politics, it does not seem risk-free to me. And then fast forward into 2025, and we've begun sanctioning and tariffing and threatening trade partners, allies, adversaries, everyone alike. And ultimately what this means is that the United States is not as worthy of the trust of the rest of the world as it used to be. Don't forget, debt is simply trust. That's all debt is. When you create debt, you and I can create debt right now. I can lend you $10, that's debt, but I have to trust that you'll pay that back to me. So if people are going to lend to the United States, they must trust that this is a credible country that is operating in economic coherent ways so that their debt they know is safe. And right now, to be very honest, to be brutally truthful with you guys, we have not earned that from the rest of the world, not even close. In fact, we've unearned it, to be very honest. And as I said, we are all paying the price. So I want you guys to comment whatever you think on this video. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.